plenty of literature that defines a sustainability mindset as a way of thinking and being. So this means it has a particular mindset and lifestyle, that it should come from understanding of the ecosystem. It should involve having a broad understanding of how different parts of the environment and society interact. So it has a very an individual focus, that it brings an individual to be environmental sensitive. And so by this, we also have introduced what we call a sustainability mindset indicator that we have used to track learners' responses throughout this project.
My age, it can range. It sometimes being so low, it should provoke rage. I come from poor conditions, and for my family, I will work in almost any profession. The competition is endless, and to survive, I will have to take a drastic measure. I will pay my employment fee, which later makes it impossible to flee. I'm now part of a system that makes your world go round, but neither yours or my employer's empathy can be found. I'm now a tool working in the machinery of greed, but no matter how much I feed, I will never get freed.
So in recent weeks, we have engaged in these discussions. We have focused a lot on the supply chains with specific emphasis on the environment. And I'm very glad today that we can be given this space to disseminate these projects. We see a lot of frameworks on responsiveness, on how to reach final demand and adapt to external shocks such as emerging technologies. We see new frameworks daily for enhanced business models and innovation. So there were many ways how we had to connect with the students' values regarding the environment. And to achieve this, we first needed to understand and engage with their environmental beliefs and perspectives. So in this project, we found 3 categories of students. So the first first category was the advocate. So for these students, it was evidently seen that they are students who have integrated eco-friendly practices into their lifestyle. They prioritize mindful consumption, and they have these habits of minimalistic lifestyle, and they take pride in them. And the second category we had was the skeptic. These were students that might have an alternative view about the environment. They seem to be wanting more debate. They want more evidence. These students tend to cite more from the works of the anti-climate movements, and they feel that this is a debate that has been politicized, but they are still more curious to learn about the environment. The third category is what we call the prosaic. Now, these were the students who have the I don't care mindset, and this is a particular straightforward thinking that they lack imagination. So the word prosaic here is used to describe individuals who are practical and focus on the mundane everyday details than the imaginative or creative. So it becomes very hard for this person to reach. So to think beyond daily tasks for personal details and the environment and ecosystems becomes a bottleneck for these students. So, and hence this project is why we called it From Doing to Being. However, we can say that occasionally there is a significant oversight of these studies on the impact on the environmental outcomes, which can occasionally result harming the nature.
First World War on, there was that absolute need for our own timber resource. So we ended up with what is now being called coniferization, where a lot of ancient woodlands were either grubbed up, poisoned in some cases, and overplanted with the softwoods. We're talking about soils, even to start with, from the ground up, that have become specialised over millennia, or overnight have now been covered in acidic pine needles. And that's the thing with forestry. If you get it wrong, then you might not see those results for decades.
A tear rolls down his unassuming face. In the murky and cramped depths, a faint glimmer. Turquoise blue shimmer ripples across his contours. He knows several vie for this rock. His hand shook with every chunk of cerulean glory. He leads others to a future he cannot possess. Wiping his tears, sparse as it may be, he knows several die for this rock. Returning to the surface, he got reminded of the last time he had a hearty meal. The dust on his little hands imprinted his fate. He knows he has no choice.
Hello everyone, I am Claudia, and as well as my colleague, we are going to hosting this roundtable with our dear guest. And before we start, I will kindly ask you to introduce yourself, saying your name and what do you do in your company.
Hello, my name is Emily Lander and I work with climate action within Ericsson, so I'm responsible of our whole net zero program.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nina Freje, and I'm a responsible business manager within Telenor, covering, among other things, sustainability efforts.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shreyas. I'm working as sustainability and business analyst with our strategic accounts of Scania, so helping them transition into sustainable transport solutions.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Marian. I work at Saitiva. I'm a sourcing sustainability leader. So I work mainly with our suppliers to make sure that they do the transition to a more sustainable way of working.
Activism is formed around this shared sensibility for the world and the shared conviction that we can create another world based on this aesthetic sensibility.
Having such qualities of prosaic forms in an individual, it is also to lose a sense of wonder, and ultimately you lose a sense of gratitude. And so in developing a sustainability mindset is to open up your mind to wonder, to the beautiful, and with different forms of artistic material. In psychology, of course, art therapy is a well-established concept, but throughout the literature of personality and personhood traditions in the early Enlightenment, mainly by the works of von Hildebrand and recent by authors such as Roger Scruton, it is well documented that good art has an intrinsic value. So art, it's not just a form of getting pleasure or possession, but the radiance of beauty of a good art has a power to lead you to a higher state of being and extinguishing all those forms of instrumentality. So when students are given this opportunity to create these impressions alongside their academic work, they step back from facts, they begin to weave new meanings. For example, in a group of four, they create new, maybe it could be supply chain phenomena, they contemplate on it, they connect all the dots in their understanding, they start to construct these pieces together, and by moving from facts to abstract truth, then they express in artistic forms and they start to affirm their being and embody new values. So in this project, to be specific, by engaging with different artistic forms, students transcend this hunger for significance. And this is a relentless focus on self-gratification that pervade our modern education here. This is a process that will allow a learner to become humble, attuned to the nature, and to start to identify themselves with the virtues of trust, goodness, justice. And so we see this creative process took us almost 3 months and allowed students to express themselves in ways that traditional essays or exams cannot capture. And this leads us to the climatic event that students organized, which we call the Environmental Hour. And in here, we see that they engaged with industry, collecting other material. And so we are able to say that with these ideals, then we can be able to start to think more in societal outreach rather than thinking in more instrumental perspective.
The first woodland in this film is nestled in a steep river valley a few miles into the national park boundary. In the spring, the forest is full of life. Birdsong fills the air and wood ant nests litter the forest floor.
An ode to color life. In the infinite universe, a tiny blue sphere, lies our lovely planet, vibrant and clear. Do you see the blue? The oceans dance with whales and dolphins, a joyful romance. Do you see the green? The mountains tall, trees and grass having a ball. Do you see the orange? The desert sand, wind whisper stories across the land. Do you see the gold? The sun's glow, bringing reason to the whole. Colors of life everywhere we go. In every shade, our planets grow. But wait, there's something dull and gray, makes all the color fade away. That's industries and factories in this array. Let's wipe out the gray, let's restore our planet's vibrance forevermore. The blues, greens, oranges, and golds, and keep our planet from growing cold. The tiny blue sphere, a canvas that we paint with care, a colorful life for all, a world beyond compare.
So my final words is that we are still learning about what a sustainability mindset is, but we know that climate change, resource depletion, social inequalities, these are very complex and systematic issues that cannot just be addressed by technical skills and innovation alone. Well, we know innovation has its place, but these are issues that require empathy, creativity, and a deep appreciation of the interconnectedness of all things about the environment. And the most important, being conscious requires engaging the learners with these values. So in the end, we see that art and the beautiful will provide the exuberance of the most abundant and life-enriching education, which will empower our students to engage in a more meaningful and transformative ways. So as educators, it is our responsibility to ensure that this radiance, this enchantment, the reflective splendor in an individual could start to rise from this mundane and instrumentality that inhibits us that has taken part in our classrooms.